Hey everyone, this is Somnath Gaudar from Future Coders. In this video, we are going to be building this Netflix clone using just HTML and CSS. So let's have a look at it. As you can see, this looks exactly like the Netflix, right? So this is what we will be building. We will also be implementing this smooth hover functionality, as you can see over here. And we will also be implementing this smooth scroll functionality, as you can see over here. We will be building this banner section with these buttons. We will be building these various sections: documentaries, horror movies, action movies. These are all scrollable, as you can see. And you might have already observed the navigation bar. Observe when I scroll down, as you can see, it's turned to black, right? As you can see. Okay guys, this is what we will be building in this video. Guys, one more thing. This build is going to be completely responsive. So let me show you. So guys, this is what it will look like in the laptop screens, and when I switch to tablet screens, as you can see, it's completely responsive. Okay, when I switch to mobile last screen, as you can see, it's responsive guys. So guys, this is what we will be building in this video using just HTML and CSS. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please make sure you subscribe to our channel for more videos like these. Previously, we have also built YouTube clone, LinkedIn clone, Gmail clone, Google clone, Facebook clone, TikTok clone, Reels clone, Instagram Reels clone actually. So guys, we actually built these using just HTML and CSS. So please make sure you watch those videos also to make sure you improve your HTML and CSS skills. So let's get started building this Netflix clone. Now inside of our Visual Studio Code, let's import the folder. I have already created a folder for this project, so I will be just importing that folder. And also attached to this video, in the description of this video, you will also find this images folder. These are all the images that we will be using in this project, so make sure you get those. You will get these in the description of this video. Okay, now let's create the files. Before that, please make sure you install some of these extensions which I'll show you. The first one is going to be this live server. Make sure you install this, and also one more is going to be prettier. This is used to format the code. Please make sure you install these two extensions which are going to help us a lot. So back to our project. Let's create the files, not inside of our images folder. Let's create index.html and styles.css. This is what we need guys. Okay, index.html and styles.css. So let's generate some boilerplate by pressing exclamatory and pressing enter. I'm gonna name the title as Netflix clone. Okay, now right click. Before that, let's also link the CSS file which we have here, link and styles.css. Okay, now right click and open with live server. Remember the extension that we installed just now, live server. This is going to allow us to do that. Right click and open with live server. This is going to open our project in the live server. There we have it. Okay, as you can see, we are starting from the scratch, a complete blank screen. Okay, now let's start by building the movies section, right? As you can see as you might already seen in the final version, that there was a Netflix originals section, right? So let's start by building that. We are going to have a div with the class name of row. Here inside of the row, we are going to have some images, right? The first, before that, we are going to have an s2 saying Netflix originals. Okay, now let's save and check. As you can see, there we have Netflix originals. Okay, right after that, we are going to have those bunch of those movie posters, right? So let's define those. I'm going to define a separate container for that, which is going to have all those images. I'm gonna name it as row posters. Okay, inside of this division we are gonna have all of those movies. So here I'm gonna define an img tag with the class name of row underscore row poster, and we are also going to have another class row row poster large. As you might have already observed that in the final build we saw in the beginning, the Netflix originals posters were actually bigger, right? So this is why I will be providing a separate class for them. So here the source is going to be in the images folder, and I'm going to select the large movie one. So let's save and check now. Okay, there we have our images. Similarly, like that, I'm gonna just copy paste this 8 more times. Okay, now I have to change the movie posters. Okay, now let's save and check. Okay, there we have all our images loaded, right? So here, let me check this class. Okay, row poster, and we have a row poster large. That's it, guys. For readability, I'm just gonna add some comments over here by saying this is where Netflix originals content is here. Okay, let's turn that into comment. That's it. Okay, now right after the Netflix originals, we also had so many categories, right? The trending now, top rated, action movies, comedy movies. So let's also define those. For time being, I'm just gonna minimize this. Okay, not minimize, I'm just gonna copy this. That's a very simple. To save some time, I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna add, I'm just minimizing it for readability. Okay, here I'm gonna define one more comment. This is going to be for the trending now, right? Trending now. Let's turn that into comment. I'm just gonna paste it over here. Okay, this s2 is gonna say trending now, right? Let's define that. Trending now. Okay, now this is not gonna have this poster large class name, so let's remove that. I'm just gonna remove all of these classes. Okay, and also let's also change these images. They are not going to be large movie, they are going to be small movie posters. Okay, small movie one. I'm just gonna copy this, guys. I'm just copy pasting, nothing more than that, because the same code is used everywhere. We'll take care of this in the styling. Okay, now let's also change these numbers. Okay, now we have our trending section. Let me show you what. Okay, this doesn't look right good now. Okay, let's continue adding our HTML, right? So now we have the trending section. The next one is going to be the top rated section, right? So I'm just gonna copy this, not this comment over here, and this is going to be top rated. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this and paste it over here, and now this is gonna say top rated. Okay, now we have our top rated section. Okay, to have few more movies, I'm just gonna copy this and paste these few more times. Of course you can change these images as however you want. For the time being, to save some time, I'm just reusing these images. Okay, now we have 16 in the Netflix originals. Let's also have the same over here. Let's copy paste this. Okay, let's also copy paste these to save some time. Okay, now that we have our top rated section, now let's define the next section, that's going to be action movies. It's going to be action movies. Don't worry, you will understand what we are doing in the styling section. Okay, I'm just copy pasting. Okay, this is now going to say action movies. Everything is gonna remain the same. Row poster, this is row poster, everything are gonna remain the same. Okay, right after we have action movies, we are gonna have comedy movies. I'm just gonna copy paste this. I'm also minimizing. Okay, here it's gonna say, okay, sorry for this, here I'm gonna say comedy movies, and this is also going to say comedy movies. Okay, now let's minimize this also. Now let's copy this. We're gonna have an horror movies. Over here I'm just gonna change it to horror movies. Okay, right after horror movies we are gonna have romance movies. Okay, right after we have this romance movies, we are gonna have documentaries. This is going to be the final section. Right after this we are gonna move to CSS. Okay, I'm just gonna copy paste this documentaries. Okay, now we have document with these various sections. Okay, these are all minimized so that we can read them, make sure we read them easily. Okay, now inside of our styles.css, let's head over there. Here I'm gonna say target everything. I'm gonna set the margin to 0 and box sizing to border box. Okay, now we are gonna target the whole body, and for the body I'm gonna set the font family to Arial, Helvetica sans serif, and I'm also gonna change the background color to this this blackish color. Let's check this out. Okay, this is going to be this color. Okay, now it's time to target the individual images which are having these class names. Row poster, all of our images have this class, so I'm just going to target that. Row poster, for that I'm going to say width to 100% and object fit contain max height is going to be 100 pixels and margin to the right 10 pixels and transition transform 450 ms. So if I save that and check, okay, there we have all of our images as you can see over here. Don't worry, we're gonna style this further. Okay, right after we are done with row poster, let's target the container having all of these images. Remember, all of these sections have this row poster same class, guys. So let's target that. And for that I'm gonna set the display of flex overflow y to hidden and overflow x to scroll, and I'm also going to set the padding to 20 pixels. Okay, there we have our Netflix clone. This is not done yet. We are gonna style it further. Let's add the hover functionality to the images over here. So that when I hover on the image, we actually see something. Hover. I'm gonna set the transform scale to 1.08. Now if I save that and check, as you can see, now we have the hover functionality. As you can see, we have these ugly scroll bars, right? We don't want those, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna paste some snippet of code so that we can get rid of this scroll bars, ugly looking scroll bars. That's going to be this row poster WebKit scroll bar and set it to display none. If I save that and check, as you can see, the scroll bar is actually gone. Okay, now right after we have done it, let's target these. As you can see, these are actually have become small, right? We want them bigger than these. Okay, for that, okay, this hover functionality is working. Okay, now for that, remember guys, we in the Netflix originals we gave it a separate class, right? Row poster large. Let's copy that to target, and for that I'm gonna set the max height to 250 pixels. Sorry, 250 pixels. Okay, as you can see, there we have our Netflix original section. They are much bigger than these sections. Okay, and I also observed that this hover functionality is actually not smooth, right? So we need to actually fix that. So inside of our okay, here I actually misspelled, that should be transform. Okay, now if I save that, as you can see, we have our smooth hover functionality. Okay, now let's also target the poster large hover functionality. Where we have the poster large, we need to also make sure we have different hover functionality to this one. Okay, I'm just gonna say transform this one. I'm just gonna copy this transform scale to 1.09 so that it expands more. Okay, that's looking great. Now let's target the whole row, this one. Let's target that. I'm gonna set the color to white and margin to the left 20 pixels. Now if I save that, okay, there we have our Netflix clone, guys. We are done with the movies section. Now it's time to build the banner section. So let's head over there where we have the banner. We are not yet defined those yet, so let's define those. I'm just gonna over here inside of the body, I'm just gonna add a comment saying header. Okay, inside in the header we're gonna have a div with a class name of banner, and inside of that I'm gonna have another container saying banner contents. Here over here I'm going to define an h1 saying I'm just going to have a class name for that so that I can style it differently. Here I will say banner title, and I'm gonna name the title as money heist. This is a series name. Okay, right after that we are gonna have a banner buttons. I'm gonna define a button, the class name of banner button, This is going to say play. I'm just gonna have one more button, and this is gonna say my list. Okay, over here we are gonna have a banner description. Banner description. Inside over here we are gonna have the movie plot. So I'm just gonna copy paste this. This is actually the plot of the money heist. Okay. Okay, right after that, okay, that's it guys, this for the banner. Now we need to style it. Let's see what we have over here. As you can see, this is what we actually have, and we are going to convert it to banner. Okay, let's do that. Let's target the whole banner, this one. I'm going to set the background image to URL, and that's going to be inside the images folder, this banner.jpg. Now let's save and check. Okay, there we have our banner image. Okay, now I'm going to set the background size to cover and background position to center. I'm going to set the color to white. Object fit contain, and I'm going to set the height to this 448 pixels. Now let's save and check this. Okay, there we have our banner. We further need to still style this, so let's do that. I'm going to target this banner contents, where we have this banner title, these buttons, and whole everything, description, everything. I'm going to target that banner contents. For that, I'm going to set the margin to the left 30 pixels, padding to the top 140 pixels, and height to 190 pixels. Now let's save that and check. Okay, that's looking nice. Now let's target the banner title. For that, I'm going to set the font size to 3 rems, font weight to 800, and padding to the bottom 0.3 rems. Okay, there we have our title. Now let's target the banner description, this one. I'm going to set the width to 45 rem, line height to 1.3, and padding to the top I'm going to set the 1 rem, and font size let's set it to 0.8 rems. Max width is going to be 360 pixels. Let's also set the height to 180 pixels. Okay, now let's save that and check. Okay, there we have our description. Okay, now let's target those button, right? As you can see, these are looking very ugly. We need to fix that too. So over here, let's copy this class name to target banner button. I'm going to set the cursor to pointer. Okay, cursor to pointer, color to white. We are not going to have an outline, so let's set it to none. We are not going to have any border, none. Font weight 700, and we are also going to have a border radius of 0.2, view width, padding to the left let's set the padding to the left to 2 rem, and padding right let's set it to RMs. Okay, I'm also going to set the margin to the left. Let's set it to, okay, not margin to the left, let's actually set the margin to the right. I'm going to set it as 1 rem. I'm also going to set the padding to the top, 0.5 rem. Padding bottom, 0.5 rem. Background color, RGBA 51. Let's say we have, okay, 51, and alpha value is going to be 0.5. Now if I save those, that as you can see we have these nice looking buttons. Okay, of course we need to add some more functionality, so let's add that to this banner button. Let's add some more functionality to that. I'm going to set the color to this blackish, and background color is going to say this whitish. Okay, now transition, so that it happens very smoothly, transition all 0.2 seconds. Okay, now if I save that and check, as you can see there we have our smooth hover functionality. And one more thing guys is going to be, we are going to add fog over here so that it looks nice. So let's add that, where we inside of our index.html we need to actually define one more div. It's going to say banner fade bottom. Okay, now let's target that, and over here I'm gonna say let's say banner, okay, banner fade bottom. For that I'm gonna say set the margin to the top to 145 pixels and height to 7.4 rems, and I'm going to set the background image to linear gradient 180 degree, and it's going to be transparent, and it's going to have an RGBA value. Okay, that should be a comma, and it's going to have an RGBA value of 37. Okay, one more 37, and the alpha value is going to be 0.61. okay, 0.61. okay, and we're going to have this color, it should be a comma. Okay, now if I save that and check, as you can see there we have our fog. That's looking nice now. Okay guys, we are done with the banner, we are done with the movies section, we are also added this scroll functionality. Okay, now it's time to add the navigation bar, right? So to do that, let's head over to our index.html. I'm just gonna minimize this banner section. Okay, where we have the body, right? At the top we are gonna have a navigation bar. For that I'm gonna define a division with the class name of nav, and it's gonna have an ID of nav. Okay, inside here we're gonna have two images. One is going to be image with the class name of nav logo, and source is going to be images slash this Netflix logo. Okay, one more image is going to be, this class name is going to be nav avatar. Okay, this image is going to be Netflix avatar. Okay, now let's save and check. Okay, there we have our logo and this avatar. We need to fix that. So over here inside of our styles.css, let's target the nav logo first. That's going to be this one, Nav logo. I'm gonna set the width to 80 pixels. Object fit contain. Now let's have a look. Okay. We also need to target the nav avatar. I'm going to set the width to 30 pixels and object fit contain. Okay, there we have our navigation bar. We still need to fix it. Okay, now let's target the whole nav. That's going to be this one with the class name. Let's target that. I'm going to set the position to fixed, and I'm going to set the top to 0, and also going to set the width to 100% and display of flex. Justify content to space between. That should be space between. I'm gonna add the padding of 20 pixels all around. I'm also gonna define a z index of 1. I'm gonna set the transition, not this one, transition timing function is in, and transition all to 0.5 seconds, so that whenever we scroll, we haven't added that functionality yet, so that whenever we add, it happens smoothly. So if I check that, as you can see, there we have our navigation bar. Of course, when I scroll down, nothing happens. No, this navigation bar doesn't have the background black, so we need to actually add that. For that, I'm gonna define one more class over here, so that so that we want the navigation bar to turn black, right? So I'm going to set the background color over here, background color to this gray blackish color. We are going to add it using JavaScript. So over here in the inside of our index.html, right after this body tag ends, we are going to define a script tag. Inside of here, I'm going to get the now by saying now. We can get it by saying document dot get element by id. Remember, we gave it an id, so I'm just gonna grab it by using the id. And for that, I'm gonna set the window add event listener. I'm gonna add an event listener to the window. I'm gonna look for scroll, and I'm gonna call this function. So whenever if window dot scroll y this scroll y is greater than or equals to 100, I don't want, okay, I want to add a class name, right? We just defined it in our style.css. I'd want to add it, so I'm just gonna say class list dot add this class name, now black. Else I want to remove it, so here I'm going to say class list dot remove now black. So if I save that and check, now if I scroll, as you can see, the navigation bar is turning black whenever I scroll. So guys, that's it guys for this build. Hope you guys enjoyed building this Netflix clone. We just built this with using just HTML and CSS. So guys, if you enjoy this video, please make sure you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. So I will see you in the next one.